Students, today we are going to do chapter number 5 from our book Flamingo. The topic name is Indigo by Louis Fisher. Louis Fisher has written a book, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. It has been reviewed as one of the best books written on Gandhi by Times Educational Supplement. The book is a first-hand talk of the author with Gandhi when he met him in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram in central India. Gandhi informed him that he had urged the departure of the British in 1917. He had attended the annual convention of the Indian National Congress at Lucknow in December 1916. There were 2,301 candidates, and during the proceedings, a poor, thin-looking peasant introduced himself as Rajkumar Shukla from Champaran. So, Rajkumar Shukla, belonging from Champaran, he observed certain problems and were being cheated by the British people. So, he came to Gandhiji for his help. Champaran, it is a district in Bihar at the foothills of Himalayas. Britishers owned the large estates of fields in Champaran, and they had a business deal with the sharecroppers over there. The Indian farmers were the tenants. The Indians were the sharecroppers. The indigo was a major profitable commercial crop over there. So Britishers took the advantage of growing the synthetic indigo, of which the peasants they were not aware. 15% of indigo was to be cultivated, and the complete share was given as a rent to the Britishers. Rajkumar Shukla was an illiterate sharecropper who had come to complain about the injustice of the landlord system in Bihar. Gandhiji told him that he had an appointment in Kavanpore and was committed to go to the other parts of India. Gandhiji then returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad, but the determined Shukla followed him and never left Gandhiji's side till he agreed to come. So wherever Gandhiji went, Shukla went behind him, and finally Gandhiji had to give him appointment. After months, Gandhi went to Calcutta and Shukla was there. Shukla received Gandhiji at the Calcutta railway station. Both travelled to Patna by train. He waited till Gandhiji was free, and then the two of them took a train to Bihar, and Shukla took him to the house of Rajendra Prasad, who was a lawyer and went to become the president of the Congress party and the independent India. Rajendra Prasad was out of town, but his parents knew Shukla as a poor yeoman or a farmer who used to worry their master to help the sharecroppers. So they let him stay on the grounds with his companion Gandhiji, whom they bought was also thought that he was a farmer and an untouchable, and they didn't allow Gandhiji to draw water from the well. Gandhiji went to Muzaffarpur to get the complete information about the sharecroppers. He sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kriplani of the Arts College, whom he had seen at Tagore's Shantiniketan school. So, Professor J.B. Kriplani met with 15 students at the railway station after he was being telegraphed by Gandhiji. Gandhiji stayed at Mr. Malkani's house, a government school teacher, and thanked him for the hospitality. Kriplani was waiting for Gandhiji at the station with a large body of students at midnight on 15th April 1917. Gandhi stayed for 2 days over there at Malkani's house, who was a government school teacher. The professor was unafraid to show sympathy for the lawyers like Gandhiji, who fought for their home rule. Gandhiji met the advocates dealing with the indigo problem. As a sharecropper farmer came to know about the Gandhiji's mission, they came to meet him. The lawyers of Muzaffarpur briefed Gandhiji about their cases and fees that they charged the sharecroppers. Gandhiji scolded them for charging such high fees from the poor farmers. Gandhiji wanted the farmers to be free from fear and not to be burdened and crushed by the court proceedings. Most of the agricultural land in Champaran was owned by the Englishmen. And the Indian farmers, they worked as the tenants and they grew indigo. They were forced to grow 15% or 3/28 of the farm with indigo and give the harvest as a rent to English owners as a long-term contract. On hearing about synthetic indigo being produced in Germany, the English owners forced the tenants to pay them compensation, being released for their sharecropping arrangement. The illiterate farmers came to know about the synthetic indigo, demanded their money back. Some farmers were able to keep the lawyers while the English landlord hired the thugs. Thugs means these are the people hired by the British official who loot the farmers. Gandhiji reached Champaran and managed to get the facts. He visited the secretary of the British Landlords Association. The secretary refused to give any information to Gandhiji, whom he called an outsider. Then Gandhiji called on the British official commissioner of the Tirhut division in Champaran district. He bullied Gandhiji and advised him to leave the place. Gandhiji proceeded to Motihari, the capital of Champaran, and several lawyers accompanied him. He was greeted by a crowd of people at the station. He used a house as his headquarters and continued investigations. Meanwhile, a peasant was ill-treated in the neighboring village and Gandhiji wanted to proceed. Police stopped him with the orders. Gandhiji received and disobeyed the order. He received news that a farmer had been ill-treated and therefore he wanted to meet him. He was taken on the back of an elephant. At a little distance, he was stopped by the police superintendent and he was asked to go back with his carriage. Gandhiji was driven home and was served a notice to quit Champaran. Gandhiji signed that he would disobey the order. He received summons to appear in the court. Large peasants crowd gathered to support Gandhiji. They had learned that Mahatma had come to help the Indian sharecroppers and was in a trouble. They were no longer afraid of the Britishers. Gandhiji had to help the police to regulate the crowd. He gave them proof that their owner could be questioned by the Indians. The British were confused, so that they asked for the postponement of the trial to consult the superiors. Gandhiji protested against the delay. Gandhiji told them that he faced a conflict of duties. On one hand, he didn't want to be lawbreaker, but on the other hand, he also didn't want to disobey the voice of the conscience. The magistrate ordered Gandhiji to furnish the bail for 120 minutes of the recess, but Gandhiji refused to pay. Then the judge released him without the bail. When the court resumed, the judge said that he wouldn't deliver the judgment for several days and gave Gandhi liberty. Many prominent lawyers arrived from Bihar and discussed with Gandhiji that if he was sent to prison, there would be nobody to guide them and they would be forced to go home. Gandhiji demanded them to think of the injustice to the sharecroppers. The lawyers, along with Rajendra Prasad, discussed among themselves that Gandhiji was a stranger and yet he was prepared to go to the prisons for the poor peasants. Now, on the other hand, they were residents of the neighboring district and had served the peasants, so that it would be shameful to go home. They went and told Gandhiji that they were ready to go to the prison with him. Gandhiji felt that the Battle of Champaran was won. He divided the groups into the pairs and put down the order in which each one would court arrest. Gandhiji then received a letter from the magistrate informing that the lieutenant governor of the province had dropped the case of civil disobedience, had triumphed for the first time in India. Then Gandhiji and the lawyers made a far-flung inquiry. They collected lot of evidence against the British landlords into the complaints of the farmers, and detailed information was collected. In June, Gandhiji was summoned by Sir Edward Gate, the lieutenant governor, and had made plans for further disobedience if he didn't return. Gandhiji met the governor 4 times, and then an official commission of inquiry was made into the sharecropper situation. In that, Gandhiji was the sole representative of the peasants. He stayed for 7 months in Champaran and again for shorter visits. He spent a year of his life there. The big planters, they principally agreed, means the landlord, they agreed to make the refund to the peasants as they were huge evidence against them. But they wanted to know what they had to pay. Gandhiji told them to pay 50% of the money. The representative of the planters or the landlords offered them to refund 25%. And Gandhiji believed them and the deadlock was broken. Gandhiji believed that the amount of the refund was less important than the fact that the landlord had to surrender the part of the money and their prestige. This built up the courage of the farmers. Later, British planters abandoned their estate and they were given back to the peasants and indigo sharecropping ended. Now the consequences of the settlement was the Britishers lost their prestige. Gandhiji wanted to do something about the cultural and the social backwardness that prevailed in the Champaran villages, so he called for the volunteers to help. His wife Kasturba and his youngest son Devdas also arrived to help. Mahadeva Bhai Desai, Narhari Parikh and several others came to help. Primary schools were opened in 6 villages. Kasturba taught the ashram rules of personal cleanliness and community sanitization. Free medicines were given to the sick. Kasturba taught about the personal cleanliness and sanitation. Doctors served free medicine, castor oil, quinine and sulfur ointment were being made. Patients suffering from constipation, malaria and skin eruption. Gandhiji kept in term with ashram from Champaran. Gandhiji saw the filthy state of the women clothes and asked Kasturba to talk to them about it. One woman took Kasturba into her hut and showed her that there were no boxes or cupboards for the clothes. The sari that she was wearing was the only one she had. Gandhiji kept a long distance watch on the ashram. He sent regular instructions by post and asked for the financial accounts. The Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhiji's life. He explained that what he did was an ordinary thing. He declared that Gandhiji could not order him about in his own country. Gandhiji's politics were intertwined with the practical day-to-day problems of the millions. In everything Gandhiji did, he tried to mold a new free Indian who could stand on his own feet and thus make a free India. Charles Freer Andrews, an English pacifist, had become a devoted follower of Gandhiji. Many people felt that the Andrews could help them. Gandhiji strongly opposed the suggestion. According to him, asking for Andrews' help was showing the weakness of their hearts. He assured them that the cause of the satyagraha was just, so they should rely upon themselves to win the battle. In this way, Gandhiji taught them a lesson about self-reliance. So I hope the lesson is very clear. Go to the textbook and rewind the video again for a better understanding.